Hello, hello, and welcome to Bla Bla Black Sheep, a weekly yarny podcast where I, Sarah Korth of Bessie K Handmade, answer your yarny questions. We focus mostly on crochet, but also other yarn stuff. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're brand new, I'm wearing my birthday crown because I'm just stretching my birthday celebration for as long as possible. We are announcing the winners of the birthday giveaway that I did last week. And so I thought it'd be fun just to, I don't know, this is okay. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I made a reel with this guy on, and it's gorgeous. This is some yarn that my marvelous friend Bonnie of Woodland Stitchcraft dyed for me. And I want her to dye yarn because it's gorgeous. It's cotton, which I think is different. You know, a lot of people dye wool yarn, but she is in California, is more cotton focused. So I was gonna wear this the whole time, but I'm noticing that it was great for a reel, but like it's really heavy. So probably not gonna wear it the whole time. But just part of my fun birthday celebration. I will announce the winners of the giveaway from last week in a little bit. I would love it if you would like, subscribe, share with a friend, all of those fun things. Helps the podcast spread to other people and invites them into our little community, which is the whole purpose. Yay, yarny community. You guys are the best, and other people for sure deserve to hang out with you. So let them know they should come join us. All right, what am I wearing? This is like a heavy birthday episode as far as both my small businesses and what I'm wearing. I am wearing this shawl cuff. Let's see, let me take it off. So this is a shawl cuff, but I love that it's just big enough for me to wear as a bracelet. But how fun is that? I love the geometric circles. And that is by Snowy Thistle Knits. I will link her website down below, of course. And then my wonderful friend Michelle sent me these earrings for my birthday. Michelle's just so thoughtful. She's so sweet. And they're just little handmade wooden earrings with some like inlaid stone, some like a little copper and some turquoise in them. They're gorgeous. And then I'm wearing my Levana shawl today, which I'm not wearing, but I'm gonna wear. I was putting it on and I was like, you know what, this is kind of a different way to wear a shawl, so I should like maybe show you guys how you could do it too. So it is, our weather here has been giving me whiplash. Last week it snowed on Monday, and not just like, oh, pretty flakes coming down. We've had quite a bit of that, but like stuck to the ground. People had to scrape it off their cars and whatnot. Snowed on Monday, May 1st. And then on Thursday, I was out taking a walk in sandals because it had warmed up so much. So the weather has been like hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. I mean, maybe that's a bit extreme. Really pleasant to kind of chilly, you know, swinging back and forth quite a bit. So it's the perfect day today. It's a little warmer than it has been. We're on the warm side of our swing here. And so it's the perfect day to wear a shawl. I love my Levana shawl because of its shape. You know, this was the first of this shape, and it's my favorite because it wraps so nicely. So, but since it is warmer outside, I don't need it like super cozy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the point off. I'm going to hit my light. I'm going to put the point off to the side. I do that every time I do this, don't I? And I'm going to put this side over my shoulder. So both sides over my shoulder. The point is off to the side. And I'm going to take the side with the point, and I'm going to wrap it around to the front. And then I'm going to go under and over And look, I've got that fun little curl, and then it twists down my back. The point is kind of off to the side, which is a little like funky and unusual. And then it's, look how nice and light it is around my neck. It's not like super warm and toasty, which I really like. So this is my Levana shawl. Links to the Levana shawl, the cuff, and the earrings are by Josiah Eidman Studios. I will link to all of those in the show notes. I may or may not have already purchased more earrings, one for myself and one for a gift. And, oh my gosh, you guys, so Nicole purchased me the earrings. She sent them to me, which was lovely and wonderful. But then I went on and I purchased for myself and for a gift. I'm not going to say who, just in case the person watches. And the package came, and it was like one of those, it was busy. And so a package came, and I was like, what is this? And I look at the return address, and I immediately recognized the name as the earring designer. But since I was looking at the address, it came from Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kenosha, Wisconsin, you guys. That's like right close by. I could have driven and picked them up. But I didn't notice that until the package came. So I thought that was funny. So there you go. That's what I'm wearing. Let's talk about what's bringing me joy, my friends. Last week, somebody asked me what my favorite song was. And at first, I was like, I don't know. I don't really listen to real music anymore. My kids are little, so like we don't listen to just like the regular radio stations. They're not quite into popular music yet. And then I thought, my favorite song, of course, is the song that my husband did our first dance to when we got married. The Luckiest by Ben Folds. I now know the name because I looked it up. I thought of it on camera, and I could think of some of the words, but not the ones that got me to the title of the song. I put it up last week, but once I looked it up, I was like, The Luckiest. And so then I was like, I wonder if I can listen to his music somehow. You know, it makes me feel old, but like listening to music is so different than it used to be. Like there are no CDs. I, had my, oh my gosh, iPod for years with all my music on it. Those are old and dead. Like, I miss my old music. But I found that on Amazon Music, they have a whole Ben Folds playlist. And so what has been bringing me joy is listening to the nostalgia of all the Ben Folds songs I used to listen to our senior year of college. The college brought Ben Folds to campus, and Brian and I got to go sit like right up close for the concert, which was so cool because we already knew that his song was going to be our first dance. It was so cool. Having so many memories, but also, he's been producing music still, and I've missed all of it. So I've been listening to his new music. I've been listening to his old music. It's been bringing me so much joy. It's been bringing back wonderful memories of my husband and I being young, and then I've just been enjoying it so much, so much. So that's what's been bringing me joy. All right. I want to share a couple small businesses with you. One is a small business I've shared before, but I got another mug from this seller for my birthday. So this is my new mug. If you know me, I love bees. We are participating in No Mow May. My son said this morning, Mom, our yard really needs to be mowed. And I said, no. We're participating in No Mow May so that the bees can have things to eat in these early months where apparently it's still going to snow. So I love bees. They symbolize to me my commitment to living a sustainable lifestyle, which we are not perfect at. I will say, but it is important to us, and we do try hard to, like, we have a rain barrel, and we try to limit the amount of plastic we bring in and use to as little as possible. Anyways, so that's what bees symbolize to me. And this mug is just gorgeous. It's got like the beehive shape and then the stamped bees on it too. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that is made by finding it. Earth Love by Danny. Again, you don't need to go search for her. The link will be in the show notes. Then I talked about Stitch Up Chicago a couple weeks ago now. And the yarn tasting and everything, there's a whole special episode on that if you want to go back and look at all the cool yarn tasting I did and hear the details about what Stitch Up Chicago is. But the yarn dyers gave us all discount codes as like a thank you for being there. And I wanted to buy from all of them. I did not. The thing is, I kept saying to myself, like, just keep these in mind and like slowly you can go back and pick up a skein or two from various places. But there was this one dyer who I met and like interacted with a lot, and she was lovely. Her name is Emily. And when I sat down at her table to do the yarn tasting, she had a hank of this yarn, and I was like, oh, I love it. So I had been like stalking her website a little bit, because she even said as we were doing the yarn tasting, like not all of these colors are up on the website yet. So I've been stalking her website, waiting for that color that I really wanted to come up. And just days before the coupon code expired, it was there, and I was so excited. It may have been up for a week, but I wasn't checking daily or anything. I'm not that obsessed. I'm a little obsessed. Okay, so this is from Distortion Fiber Arts. Again, you don't have to hunt her down. It's in the link in my bio, and this is the yarn I got from her. Isn't it amazing? There, maybe that's better. Maybe you can see. Maybe I should do it one skein at a time. Can you see the colors? All the like, it's a base of like a cold blue, which, you know, cool colors are my favorite. Cold blue. It's got like this gorgeous green in it, and then it's got little pops. This one has more. Let me show you. Little pops of like a rusty, not quite orange. I'm not really a big orange person. You might call it orange, but don't call it orange to me. But some rusty pops. Do I know what I'm doing with this? No. Did I buy it anyways? Yes. Should I have probably gotten another skein? Yeah, probably. But I didn't. So that'll become something sometime. And I'm obsessed with them. I mean, I had already seen it in person, so that helped. But they are as gorgeous as I remembered. I love it. I love it. All right. Announcements. You guys, there is no like official event this month for SEK Handmade, but I just wanted to mention this again. I've invited whoever wants to join me for calling it Outside Every Day in May. And we're just a little but mighty group of us who are committed to getting out almost every day in May. We're not shooting for perfection here, but I strongly believe that fresh air, and if it's out there, sunshine, and sometimes the crappiest weather days are the best days to go out into nature, because when the people aren't out, the animals are. Last week I went out on a day that it was pouring rain, and I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I've decided on Fridays I'm going to explore a new place. So I went to a park that I had been to but never hiked around at. I just played on the playground with my kids. The weather was terrible. For a long time I thought, literally as I'm thinking, it's okay, my feet are going to get wet, but at least I'm not muddy. And I stepped down and the mud like pushed up my foot and my pants. And I was like, okay, all bets are off. I'm muddy now. I'm just going all in. Who cares? But I got to see these birds. I don't know what kind of bird they were. Diving into the lake for fish. It was the coolest thing. So it was very cool. Saw lots of neat animals then, and it was awesome. So if you want to join us, we're chatting on Instagram. Send me a message on Instagram and we'll add you to the group. Very supportive, fun group of ladies. So I'd love it if you'd join us. No official event this month, but next month we are doing our second WIP wrap up. Just like, keep it in mind. Don't feel bad about starting any projects this month because you'll finish them up next month. It's fine. From the minute, that might be an exaggeration. Do you know me? I love a good exaggeration. From the very first time I ran WIP wrap up, people were saying I could use this more than once a year. And so I've decided, yes, me too. So I put it in June. So that's coming up. So that's a lot of fun. All right. You know what? I was going to announce the winners, but I'm going to save it until the end. Oh, I'm very excited. But let's answer some questions now. So, first question. Keep bringing the questions, please. I love to know what you're wondering about. Again, link in the show notes. It's really a simple form. All you do is type your question, and it auto-populates to a spreadsheet for me so that I can keep track of which ones I've answered and which ones I haven't. And then I love reading through them. I know I'm not getting to everybody's. It's a slow process getting to all of them to keep these within a reasonable time frame, but please ask your questions. The show keeps going because you keep asking, and I love to be a resource for you. And I'm not the only resource here. So if I answer a question and you have a different experience or opinion, like, let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear. Everyone would love to hear. All right. So the first question says, so can I ask, how long do you leave your ends? Okay, so 2 times ago, I talked about blocking, and I said I weave in my ends before I block. I don't snip them. And I'll tell you why. And then I forgot to tell you why. So last time, I told you why, which is just that as you block your ends, like you move the fabric, whether it's a dense fabric but especially an open fabric, like in a shawl that's really lacy and open, or it doesn't have to be a shawl, any fabric that's lacy and open. And I have found that as I block, those ends kind of wiggle and shimmy into place, and that when I would weave my ends in, snip them off, and then block, sometimes they'd be sticking out again because they had wiggled out some. So I leave my ends just hanging out there. I fully block, and then I snip them after the project is completely dry. So that's where that question is stemming from, I believe. So the question is, how long do I leave my ends? I'm going to tell you 2 things. One, how long you leave your ends doesn't really matter to an extent. Either end of extreme is unnecessary. If you leave your ends too short, like that's not enough to weave in. That's barely enough to fit on a tapestry needle. You need enough to go on your tapestry needle and weave there and back and there again, at least, to kind of lock in those ends. But then if you go to the other extreme, I have a lot of beginners who are learning to crochet, and they leave an end like this. 2 issues with that. A, man, does that get in your way as you're starting off. And, did I say A? B, maybe. You're also prone, I think, then to accidentally tensioning with your tail instead of your working yarn, and then getting like a row into your project and being like, oh, boogers, I'll say, instead of the real word I say. I try to keep this kid friendly, so if you're watching with your kids in the same room, that there's no She had to explain any naughty words to them. Because I always appreciated that as a mom of little people. My kids are now obsessed with cuss words, not saying them, but like, what are they and what do they mean and why do people use them and all the questions. Anyways, tangent. Okay, so it stinks when you use your tail and then you get to the end of it, like there's no more. Instead of your working yarn. So when you leave a really long tail like that, it gets in your way and you have more of a risk of accidentally working with it, and then you have to back up, which is frustrating. So I always recommend to my learn to crochet classes to leave between 6 and 8 inches. That usually gives you enough that you can put it easily on a tapestry needle and weave in your ends for a good length, like to feel really secure that they're going to stay put, and that even if they back out like a little bit, you can snip them off and like you're not going to come unraveled. And then it's short enough that if you try to tension with 6 to 8 inches, it's just going to slip through your fingers depending on how you tension. You're not going to get more than a stitch or 2 in with 6 inches before you realize that, oh, that's the wrong end. So that's my 2 tips for like how long to leave them when you're as you're crocheting, like whenever you add in a new color, 6 to 8 inches. Whenever you start, 6 to 8 inches. When you're going to trim your yarn at the end, 6 to 8 inches. But really it's a matter of personal preference. Some people have had experiences where their project has unraveled and then they may say, I'm going to leave a long tail and I'm going to weave in a whole bunch because I would much rather weave in ends a lot and know that it's not going to fall apart than I would rush through weaving in my ends. So, you know, a little personal preference there. Sometimes it's a matter of experience. If I had had a project fall apart, I'd probably be very paranoid. I also, as I'm designing, try to use really reasonable amounts of ends. Like I don't want to leave my ends like this and then tell you you only need 400 yards because nobody else leaves an end like that and then you're going to run out of yarn. When I weave them in and leave the tails hanging out as I'm blocking them, I leave whatever's there. So, you know, I don't measure my 6 inches. And I'm not always consistent with exactly how far back and forth I go. So sometimes I end up leaving a little tail hanging out, and sometimes I end up leaving a long tail hanging out, depending on how much I had there to begin with. I do recommend going across, up a row, back the other direction, up a row, back the other direction. That kind of back and forth, which can be hard with really tiny stripes. But I just think that change in direction kind of locks it in place a little better than just like weaving, you know, 10 inches in one direction. So there you go. That's how long I leave my ends, both to start and when I weave them in. And then I clip them very, very carefully. I clip them close to the fabric after it's done blocking. All right, question number 2. All right. I loved this question because I've heard this too. So this question says, I often hear knitters talk about always needing to go up or down a needle size. Well, I have to change my hook to meet but to meet gauge to match gauge. That was a typo. I don't think that's right. To meet gauge, it sounds like knitters go up or down more consistently. What's up with this? And why isn't it the same for crocheters? Okay, so if you have hung out with knitters, which I recommend, they can be very nice people. Actually, I had a dentist appointment this morning, and the lady who cleaned my teeth, she was like, so, what are you doing today? And I was like, going home and doing some work. Oh, you work from home? Uh-huh. What do you do? I'm a crochet designer. Oh, you are? very interesting. She had all the questions for me, which I love, but it's also hard when you're trying to like clean my teeth. But she said, so what? You sell your patterns on Ravelry? And I was like, hold up. You know about Ravelry? Because people non-yarny people don't know Ravelry. And so I was like, do you knit or crochet? She was like, yeah, I knit. And I was like, awesome. Yarn brings people together. And then I was like, come on over, I'll teach you how to crochet. Anyways, sidetrack. So I go to my local yarn shop has Yarny social time 2 times a week, and I go as often as I can. I'm often teaching during the Sunday time because that's a good time for me to teach classes, but I go almost every Wednesday night, and we just sit and we chat. And so there's lots of chat about like, what project are we going to do next, and like there's becoming a really good mix of knitters and crocheters, but there tend to be some more knitters than crocheters, and especially before I came and started pressuring people into crochet. There were more knitters than crocheters, and so they will do little like knit-alongs where they'll all pick a project and knit it at the same time, just like real casual. And so they'll talk a lot then, like, did you have to go up a size? Did you have to go down a size? Did you, oh, I always go up 2 needle sizes, or, oh man, I'm such a loose knitter, I always have to go down 3 needle sizes. And they talk about it like it's an always thing. And as a crocheter, it's never an always thing. It's never an always thing unless you're talking about a specific designer. So the Crochet Miss Crew ladies that I chat with every day, we do a lot of testing for each other. So we've made a lot of each other's patterns. And so we know in relation to each other individually, like, oh, Ashley and Fatima have the same gauge, generally speaking. I'm just making this up because I don't remember specifically. Or like Bonnie's a really tight crocheter. I do know that one. So I always have to go up hooks or down hook sizes to match her gauge. And so we know in relation to each other, but not like, it's not like a general statement. Like, yes, Bonnie tends to be a tight crocheter, so often she has to go up hook sizes, but like hook sizes, it's not like always 1 hook size or always 3 hook sizes. And I feel like with knitters, you hear a lot of, I always go up 1 or I always go down 3. Here is my theory on that as someone who knits and crochets. And tell me in the comments if you have a theory on this, because I'd love to hear. I mean, this isn't like fact. This is not in the Encyclopedia Britannica. If you know, you know. Here's my theory on that. So, the way, it has to do with the way the stitches are formed, is my theory. So, when you knit, you have your needle and you're just looping yarn over the needle. So 1 loop over the needle. So there is some inconsistency with how tight you make that 1 loop. If you are someone who tends to have very tight tension, Weston is snoring. He's in his kennel. He's snoring. I don't think you can hear him though. It's just cute. If you're a person who has tight tension, then you need a bigger needle to loosen those loops, right? And so pretty consistently, your loops will be tighter and you'll need bigger needles. Same in the opposite direction. If you're a really loose knitter, you need your loops to be smaller because you wrap them more loosely and so they're naturally larger. So I think because of that action that is generally speaking, just loops over, there's not as wide an inconsistency. But if you think about the way a crochet stitch is formed, often you're wrapping the yarn around your hook. My hand motions here. Often you're wrapping the yarn around your hook, then you're inserting into your fabric, you're wrapping again, you're pulling up a loop through your fabric or your chain. So depending on how tight you wrap around your hook, depending on how high you pull that loop. Some people just like barely pull that loop through before they work it again. Other people pull that loop real high. Other people are in between. That affects the size of your stitches, and then as you're yarning over and pulling through, that affects the size and tension of your stitches. And so there's just so many more actions when you break it all down into forming a crochet stitch than in forming even basic crochet stitches versus basic knit stitches. There's so many more actions in crochet stitches that every action you make adds potential for discrepancy and differences. So I think the reason that knitters tend to consistently or more consistently, I mean, that's not like a now every single time, no, but more consistently either need to go up or down a certain amount of needle sizes, and crocheters, it's like whew, every time, every new pattern, every new person, who knows? It's because every stitch can have different tension. And the more actions you put into a stitch, the more potential there is for discrepancy between the designer and the crocheter. So that's my theory. You tell me your theories. I'd love to hear if you can think of any other reasons that would be the way that it is. But that's my 2 cents. So there you go. All right, those were our questions for today. Let's talk winners. Winners. I love giving stuff away. It's so much fun. But here's the deal. On Instagram or Facebook, if I do a giveaway there, I can message that person and say, you won, send me your information so that I can send you your prize. There's no messaging on here. There's only comments. So what I'm going to do is in the in the show notes, I'm going to put a link with my email address. Not to join my email list, though I would love it if you would do that, but a link with just my email address. And if you are, if you're whoever, if you want to email me, send me an email. Let's chat. But if you are a winner that I'm going to list here, I'm pointing to my tablet where everyone's name is listed so I remember you all. If you are a winner, I need you to email me so that I can collect your information so that I can mail you your prize. Okay? So that's how it's got to go. I can't reach out to you any other way. So please. All right. Our winners, there are multiples. Oh, I wanted to show you. Last time I didn't have my my stickers, and they came like almost right after. But that's my sticker, and I'm so excited about it. My youngest is like, can I have one of those stickers, Mom? And I'm like, you want a sticker of my podcast? And he's like, yes, I do. I think that's hilarious. But I think they are adorable. I got one for each season, so that's like my spring. I think I did a summer one, but I don't like how it turned out. So I'm debating if I'm going to reorder those or if I'm just going to call this a spring summer. I might do that. And then I have a fall and a winter one. I'm very excited about those. I already ordered them. They turned out amazing. So we'll do more giveaways in the future. So the winners are Keys by Renee 777. I apologize if I'm saying any of these things wrong because I probably am. Our second winner is Wanda Hardesty 260. Our third winner is Julie U Crochet. Our fourth winner is Mr. and Mrs. Hatley 6235, and Jessica left her name, so thank you, Jessica. And our fifth winner is Cammie Jones 8186. So send me an email. I'll get your information and I'll get your prizes out to you. Thank you so much for everyone who commented on my last post and on my last video and wished me a happy birthday. It was so wonderful to feel the love of all of your birthday wishes and to hear what your favorite birthday treats were. Some of you are very creative and I love them. So if you have not read the comments on the last video, you should check them out because some people got some delicious desserts and other people have non-dessert treats that they prefer for their birthday that I'm like, that's genius. So check those out. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, it's been a blast. Subscribe, like, turn on notifications, do all the things, and happy crafting.